Hello friends, and welcome to chapter number 6, the positive thoughts element. You see, to my clinics came many people who experienced stressful life. Even I, at times, had a lot of stress in my life, and that affected my health. I'm not saying life is meant to be without stress, but when stress controls someone's life, he gets overwhelmed with it. From there, it's easy to slide downhill. Stressful people tend to suffer more from anxiety. They lose the meaning of life and even try to end their life. For many stressful people, antidepressants can make life even worse. In 2006, I came to a conclusion that if the body had the ability to sue the brain for damages before a panel of judges, the findings will reveal that the brain was a destructive tenant to the body. So, I used to ask my stressful clients about the priorities of different organs in the body. The vast majority responded that the brain has a higher priority over the rest. But the brain, like the rest of the body, needs a supply of blood, oxygen, and essential nutrients, for which various organs and systems are in charge. Therefore, the conclusion is that the brain is part of the body, and its important part like any other organ. The brain cannot exist without the rest of the body, and it cannot exist without the brain. All the organs of the body are one perfect unit. When we get sick, we must treat not only the symptom, but the whole body. The brain can function best if it receives the supply of oxygen-rich food and essential nutrients. The brain also produces waste as a result of its work. Simulations of millions of nerve cells, production various of metabolic chemicals help the body to perform its many functions. Many times when an autopsy of the skull and brain is performed, it is discovered that some of the brain tissue suffer from anemia and some are covered with yellowish mucosa. This shows a lack of proper blood flow and accumulation of fat and waste. Science prefers to give different classification and names to brain-related diseases, from memory loss to Alzheimer's to depression, bipolar, and even insanity. They all link to the brain and indicates a dysfunction of it. The root cause of these problems is due to poor blood circulation, lack of nutrients, and accumulation of toxins and waste. Therefore, if you apply the 5 additional elements in your lifestyle, it can improve blood flow to the brain. Listen, an old phrase says, a healthy mind resides in a healthy body. But to heal the mind, first you need to heal the body. Beyond the evidence indicating a low blood flow and lacking in essential nutrients the brain needs, there is an emotional and spiritual aspect that can cause chronic diseases or cure them. It has been scientifically proven that the immune system monitors, listens, and responds to our emotional dialogue. Unfortunately, there are many people who have negative thoughts with themselves. They don't like their job, they don't like how they look, and some of us don't even like their life. People get up in the morning with no desire to go to work. They are always complaining about something, and their life is full of stress. No wonder Western countries have the highest incidence of heart diseases and cancer. Why? Because the body listens to the dialogues we have with ourselves, and it reacts to them. Now try to imagine how many attacks the immune system has to deal with every day. It has to deal with the different viruses and bacteria that threaten to invade the body and causes diseases. The immune system is constantly struggling with air pollution and the chemicals in what we drink and eat. But scientific studies have shown that the most violent enemy of the immune system and the greatest attack on it comes from us, from what we think and from what we say. Moreover, love is one of the best healing for the body. The power of love is greater than minerals, vitamins, enzymes, fresh fruits and vegetable juices, and even more than the medical herbs. I'm talking about self-love, love of family members, and love of other people. I'm talking about a true love, and not love you show only in good times and when you feel like it. You see, people all the time are talking about and looking for love, but how many are actually love themselves, their job, and their life? People focus on hate and anger, and they leave no room for joy, gratitude, and perception. They're always looking for hope, to be proud of themselves. The brain is the main computer of the body. The brain always works. It never stops, neither during the day or at night. It is never on vacation. The mind is the captain. It is responsible for every action that takes place in the body. It controls your body every second during the day. And if that's not enough, then the mind has to process and break down all your thoughts, the good ones and also the bad ones. Listen, anything you want to do, the mind has to give the command and the physical body will carry it out. In order to perform all these tests without any problems, the brain cells, like any other cell in the body, need to receive nutrients and excrete waste. The brain needs those nutrients to produce various chemicals. In fact, every time a thought came to the mind, the brain produces a certain chemical that enables you to think. Science recognizes the fact that when there is a thought, the brain creates a chemical that opens a window, and when the thought passes, the window closes back. For example, when you meet someone and you fell in love, there is a feeling of butterflies in your stomach and a pleasant feeling all over the body. It's actually a chemical created in the brain, and when a crazy driver cuts you off and almost causes an accident, the feeling of rage is also a chemical created in the brain. The adrenaline, which is created in the body in moments of horror and fear, and even the sensation we feel when the roller coaster rushes down the slope, all of these are chemicals that are created in the brain. Science calls those chemicals neuropeptides. Science has conducted a number of studies on the subject for good reasons. Imagine if you could put something in a popular product, such as water, and make everyone feel good, feel in love, or more realistic, make everyone feel fear, hate, panic, and to be sleepy, apathic to what's going on around. Big Pharma, and especially psychiatrists, are doing a lot of research on the subject because they are interested in creating a pill that at the same time will give a feeling of joy, drowsiness, and apathy. In fact, there are numbers of medications on the market that causes this feeling, and many people use them. When you think, the brain produces chemicals that makes you more alert. They called neuropeptides. The body is made out of trillions of cells, skin cells, blood cells, liver cells, brain cells, etc. The membrane surrounding the cell is made up of fats, proteins, and cholesterol. The cell is very selective to what it allows to enter in it and exit from it. In the 1990s, science has come to a great discovery. They found that the envelope of the immune cells, those that are supposed to protect you, there are special bays designed to blend with neuropeptides. Those chemicals are formed in the brain, right? So, the inevitable question is, why it's important for the immune system to know about what you are thinking? Why does it care about your thoughts? Don't the immune system have enough work with all the viruses, bacteria, and cancer cells circulating in the body trying to make you sick? Scientists knew the immune system listened to your personal dialogue, but there is no cell or system in the body that listens to another system unless it intends to respond to the information it receives from it. So science tells us that the immune system responds to viruses, bacteria, cancer, and other pathogens by those chemicals in the brain. In short, the response of the immune system in time of illness is determined by thoughts. It's interesting to discover the great potential that our thoughts have to create or to cure diseases. Remember the phrase from the 1960s that says, if you are not part of the solution, you must be part of the problem. Don't you think it's time for you to decide which side are you on? Over the years, I have learned that almost anything can be achieved if you want it enough. I know people whose doctors have told them that they have a few months or years to live, and they were still alive and healthy years later. How can that be? Well, part of that lies in the fact that they were willing to manage their fears. They built a strong belief on the path they choose, and they were willing to change their lives. But they also believed they could heal themselves. They could feel it because they created the recovery. Each of those people had to learn new positive ways to look at themselves and their life. For those of us who are well and free of chronic diseases, it is the great opportunity to make the changes now. Because you need a strong immune system, healthy positive thoughts, and strong body. So, what is the solution? First, love your body, yourself, and your life. For a start, you have to love yourself. You have no choice. There is no one there but you. You need to help your body produce the positive chemicals, those neuropeptides that have a positive effect on the body. That's how you strengthen the immune system. You need to start with positive thoughts about yourself. At first, you don't have to believe everything you say, but like everything else in life, you have to practice. Eventually, you will believe everything you say and your body will appreciate it. Listen, this is your life, so love it. One of the things I learned is that everything, yes, everything is a blessing. Maybe at first it doesn't look like a blessing. And yes, when something bad happens to you, maybe at first it's hard to see the blessing. Like when you get stuck with a flat tire at night, or when you get locked out of the house because you lost the keys. And even when you break a leg, it might be a blessing. And who said death is not a blessing? Listen, every sick person should accept his illness as a blessing, as a sign that something is wrong with their lifestyle, and it needs to be changed. Every illness, every injury, no matter what, are not curses. Maybe there are stop signs, a junction of roads, so you can choose which way to proceed. Many people cannot see the whole picture and how things can change. No one knows where their life journey leads, right? However, it's up to you to think about the light at the end of the tunnel, even if you have been in the tunnel longer than expected. Look, on 9/11/2001, the Twin Towers in New York collapsed after the largest terrorist attack on America. More than 3,000 people died in this horrific attack. But how many people were late for work in the towers that morning? How many were late for the train? How many had a flat tire or had an appointment elsewhere? On the average day, between 10 to 20,000 people visit the Twin Towers. The lives of how many people were saved because they were late, because of all sorts of things that were not in their daily routine. How many realized they were giving another chance to live? How can anyone judge or doubt everything that's happening and decide that it's bad? There's one thing which is 100% clear. There's nothing positive in negative thinking. It will just suppress your immune system. On the other hand, positive thinking relaxes the nervous system and the tense muscles. It improves blood circulation, strengthens the immune system, and help you sleep better. That's why it's better to think of the corona, flu, and cold as an opportunity to cleanse and purify the body than an attack on the body by evil, unseen microbe that you need to destroy with the harmful chemicals in vaccines. Remember, you can think positively, but you need to believe and act positively too. In my clinics, I saw many chronically sick people. Some of them were fighting an incurable disease. Over the years, I have learned that almost any disease could be cured, but not everyone can be cured. Because it's not about the disease, but it's all about you. Listen, I can teach you my practical theory on how to cure most diseases known to man. In my clinics, I have seen people who cured the disease and those who failed. I laid down my 6 principles for health and longevity, but I also know that people who suffer from chronic diseases, who really need to use those principles to heal themselves, are not going to do it. The question is, why does it happen? Why most people who suffer from chronic diseases prefer not to heal themselves but to remain chronically sick and to be medicated for the rest of their life? It is because they are not brave enough to free themselves from the disease, or there must be another reason. That's why I invite you to the 7th chapter I called The Missing Element. This will give you the right perspective why most chronically ill prefer not to change their lifestyle and completely free themselves from the disease. The information I have there is relevant for more than 70% of Americans, and I'm sure you don't want to miss it. I will be waiting for you to tell you all about it. Goodbye now.